Hi you, I'm back. I do have a bit of a donkey voice and still a bit of cough, but flu is almost gone, exams are done, and I was getting ready to make another lovely video on something quite serious on attachment styles. And for those of you that never heard of attachment styles, attachment in psychology and that kind of field, it's usually referred to as that primary bond, the blueprint of a relationship that we develop in our early years when we're infants, babies, toddlers, and so on. And usually, the attachment, the bond itself, has a deep imprint on later on how we behave ourselves in intimate relationships. So imagine this simplistically. Um, the first bond in your primary family or be it with parents or caregivers, whoever it is that looked after you, um, tends to ripple further down the track into anything else that you're trying to establish as an intimate partnership, as an intimate relationship. Um, and there's quite a lot written and I guess speculated sometimes about attachment styles. Of course, studies and of course the scientific side of it, but there are also lots of speculations around. Well, it sort of triggers lots of speculation because automatically, if you are having some sort of issue adjusting into a new intimate relationship, then all of a sudden people label you as, oh, you've got mommy issues or daddy issues or whatever other issues. Truth of the matter is, we all have issues, and that's the part that most people tend to hide from. So I decided that instead of actually talking about attachment styles, particularly the insecure kind, specifically the avoidant type that usually draws itself and comes from a bit of a negative effect kind of parenting where parents for whatever reason were not around much to attend to the needs of the child. So the child internalizes, the infant, the child internalizes the external world and its own self-image simply by the way they interact with their parents in that primary bond. So most of the times the absence or the non-attendance, or sometimes some parents are not very nice and they insult kids or they shame kids or they beat kids up. I don't know, just think of all the negatives and you'll get the drift. So all of that in the soul of a child becomes a reflection of the not just the outside world, but it becomes internalized. And many years down the track, if that child fails to develop successfully throughout the stages and find that balance and find that support and have a safe relationship with family around, then it becomes rather problematic and becomes a ripple of those inadequacy and those initial blueprints that as an adult someone can use as a coping mechanism. So fear of rejection, um, fear of rejection, instead of being waiting for someone else to reject you, you do the first step and you cut it short and you move on. There are many other examples in terms of coping mechanisms, behaviors that we use during an intimate relationship or ending an intimate relationship, purely because most of the times it just seems to come naturally from somewhere, and unconsciously we just replicate things that we absorbed in back in childhood. That's one of the theories, and then from there the speculation that, oh my god, you had a bad childhood, so you ended up a bad apple of some sort, which is where I have a problem with the speculation, because that's not entirely true. And as much as we all have issues, we also have all of us the resources and the capacity to deal with things and understand ourselves better in time, and just cross life and move through life with kindness towards ourselves once we understand what it is that makes our dark side, for that matter, our shadows. So instead of talking about that, there's something else I want to share with you. And I don't know if you're gonna do it. Hey, don't tell anyone if you are, but here's a little tip. So there are times when people, other people, hopefully not you, not ourselves, although sometimes we do, we get triggered and we say nasty words to others, like mean. We become in anger. You know what they say, don't talk in anger, don't respond in anger. Well, there's a lot of truth in that, because what we're saying is merely that projection of anger into anything and everything designed to hurt the other person. So what I'm trying to show you today, and this comes from a different kind of training I'm currently doing. I actually have a couple of lessons this weekend as well. It's about learning how to not internalize and discard, literally just scan your body with your hands and just pretend that you're literally collecting all of the hurt and all of the pain and everything that someone told you, and you're squashing them in like a little snowball. And guess what? This is where your imagination comes into play. I hope you've seen snow before, because you're now with a handful of snow in your hands, and imagine that all of that, all you do, you just blow it away in the universe. I know it sounds trippy, but if you don't want to give a try to imagination scientifically, think of it like the placebo effect, because that's exactly the kind of mechanism that works inside us, inside our mind, whenever trials happen and control groups are used, and some are given a medication and some aren't. That placebo effect, that in itself is a power that we hold that is just amazing. And sometimes it doesn't work just in control groups and in trials for medication, but sometimes I'm sure you had these things. It must have happened to you when you say like, I just wish this or that or the other, and you wished, and there are chances when that wish came true, for whatever reason. Simplest example, you sit in traffic and you're in a hurry, you're like, God, please just make this go green, and it goes green. I know it's silly, but try it. The moment you feel pain, the moment you feel hurt, the moment you feel, in all those moments that you feel heavy because of hurt and pain and words that someone else thrown at you in anger, stop doubting and questioning yourself. You're not like that. You're really not. But words have their own power and their own energy. So please try this. If you haven't seen snow before, please Google a video and just see what I mean by snowflakes. Okay, so imagine that you're just literally scanning your own self, and you grip out from yourself all of that hurt and all of that pain, and it's now in your hands in front of you, and it's a handful of snowflakes, and just like that you just release it to the universe, because you don't need that. It's not yours to carry. It simply isn't. Again, you might want to try, you might not, you might think I'm really out there, you might not, but your imagination, your mind, your soul, your body, they will thank you for it. I think they're an amazing, we are an amazing constellation, so you've got nothing to lose. You don't have to tell anyone. Just do it on your own. Use your imagination. It's there for a reason. Other than that, I hope that after my studies tomorrow, I can share with you something much more interesting than releasing snowflakes. But you gotta admit, it really is a beautiful view. I'm Gabriela. Thank you for watching. See you next time.